books ake. And you know how it is with guys tatanga kufurana and akabva furirwa and ndobva ndaita my first girlfriend then, and I think I was in form 4 somewhere there, and because I was not ready for this, I had no clue what happens in a relationship. I had no clue at all. So my biggest worry was, okay, if she says yes, then what? Total nyadzichi. You know, because I'd seen people spending 30 minutes, 1 hour with their so-called girlfriend, boyfriends, and I would wonder, right? That was my biggest worry. So I was really scared. A total stranger, and at yes, and then do it I say. that was my biggest worry. So I then asked my friends, did some little research, things like that. Yeah, but what I've learned from all that is that when people spend time together as a couple, and all that, and some of these key words that we say to each other, they have a meaning, a big meaning for that matter. Like today we're talking about sweet nothings. This is definitely part of the love language that we call words of affirmation that I'm dealing with today. So they spend a lot of time talking about sweet nothings. And this is a skill that I always encourage couples. You don't need to be just transactional every time. You've got to create certain, sweet nothings so that you can just have a conversation about nothing. It's very important. You need to get to a place where you can just be in a conversation about nothing. It's perfectly fine. Because I've got guys that say to me, the whole day on a Saturday.
They don't want to spend time with their wives.
Yeah. So their fear is but I'm here to challenge them and say it's not about nyads nim soro. It's about just talking about other things. You can just look at a tree and start laughing, create a story and start laughing and and doing all that. In fact, that's what we need. That's a skill that we need going forward. That creativity, creating a story out of nothing. So it is very important for us to just find something to talk about. Very, very important. Because those sweet nothings will then evolve into what I would want to call a private language. Because I believe every couple should have their own private language. Make it your official language. This is how we, talk, and these are the words that we use. They've created their own official language, their own special language. So this is developed by intentionally, having such conversations where you just talk about nothing, spend time just talking as couples. Particularly if you're married to someone, words of affirmation is my love language. You need to be very creative and to be very generous with words. Because words of affirmation, do it for that person. So Panama words words like sweetheart, my love, babe, honey, and from the surface you think they mean nothing, but they've got a huge meaning.
So for me, like in total affect no, and not used to say sweetheart, like problem. You actually take offense.
Exactly. Yeah, so we need to get used to just throwing around these sweet nothings and all that. Not to but to go serious in a relationship as if that's what it means to be in a serious relationship. So sweet nothings. The good thing about sweet nothings is that they don't cost a thing. Like we always say, but you've got your voice, you've got the words that were given to you, and you can release those words, and you would have communicated your love, you would have affirmed your love. Why is it important for us to use words? Why is this language, this love language called words of affirmation important? It is very, very important. Why? I want to take you to scripture, Matthew chapter number 3, verse number 17. Now, this is Jesus coming out of River Jordan by John the Baptist. And as he was stepping out, the heavens opened, then a voice was heard, voice ramwari kanzwika richitaura kuti this is my beloved son in whom I am well pleased, you know. And that was it. Jesus walks out and then he goes. Ndobva anoita 40 days and 40 nights fasting. At the end of his fasting period, chapter 4, guess who turns up? The devil turns up and then tries to convince him, Yoga, ukangondi worshiper, I'll give you this, all those promises, I'll do A, B, C, D for you, I'll give you kingdoms, I'll give you this city, I'll give you all that. And Jesus said, no. When it came to food, Jesus even said, which men shall not live by bread alone, but by every word, every word, every word. So when he mentions with every word, I believe that he's referring back to the words that were said to him by his father 40 days ago. River Jordan. There are words that were said, and these are the words that sustained him when he was going through temptation. Imagine, he was going to fall for that temptation if he was like
but
me.
He knew that he was the beloved of the Father.
Yes. So he went around with that confidence.
Wow.
You know what? My father affirmed me. My father said it. I am his beloved. Imagine what will happen to our kids if we release them to their schools, to wherever they'll be going, and we give them that affirmation, I love you, no matter what happens there. Even if you're number 5 per relay race or per whatever 100-meter dash here, you are still my son, you're still my daughter, and I love you all the same. So words of affirmation are very, very important. Very important. That's why it's important for us, even as men or as wives, to continuously apply this principle. My marriage is made because mukadzi wako kamuza kuti ndinokuda kana kuti murume wako kamuza kuti ndinokuda even akaenda kunze akazodzwa nemunhu anogona kuti hazvisi zvinyuwani izvi. My spouse anondiudza every day.
You see someone who appreciates you so much, speaks so highly of you, of your looks, your work, and then not am I still worth it? Like other wives feel that way, other husbands feel that way.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, Vikendi, I'm interested in Yadze affair recovery. I do a lot of healing affairs and trauma that's associated with Nyadzema affairs and infidelity. And in many cases, I want to find out why did the person cheat. And you know what, this guy came to me akandiudza kuti wakanaka, akandiudza kuti your hairstyle, everything about you, you're on point, and I just melted. And
your body is perfect as it is.
So I'm just trying to explain the scripture here. Kuti, if Jesus had not heard these words from his father, the words of affirmation, Eguti, you are my son, this is my beloved son, in whom I'm well pleased. Imagine, the devil was going to take advantage of that. So please, let's make sure that we release these words. Because munhu anofamba kunze ukachiza ndine approval yomwangu. Imagine, as a man, your wife tells you you can do it, shamar. You don't
have to wait for another woman to believe in your vision to say you can do this.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And you find Vikendi, their biggest worry is that they don't get that domestic support from their wives in terms of being told that you can do it, your vision is good, your vision is great, you can do it. So that's what's lacking. I'm hoping that there are a number of women that are tuned in. This is what your husband needs. You can do it. You know, you can do it. That will actually go a long way in terms of convincing and energizing your husband. And I'm telling you, the wife believes in him. So if you're sure that you believe in your husband or you believe in your wife, you are likely to get more out of them in terms of them going out and just accomplishing a lot of things. So words of affirmation are very important. So what are they? We need to define them. Words of affirmation. Remember, we looked at other languages, love languages like touch, quality time, gifts, and all that. So today, words of affirmation. So what are they? Words of affirmation are words that communicate your love. Very simple. These are words that communicate your love. Atidi mnandanzi kutenda kwa kitsi kuri moyo. You are kitsi. So verbalize your gratitude.
Please.
It is very important.
Yeah.
So you communicate your love, your appreciation, and respect for another person. Remember, respect comes in many forms, and there are also languages of respect. And for most people, they want that respect to be verbalized. Kunyanya susu vanu. Vamwe vacho totodetembwa kutoti ningi chirandu moyo chirandu zvakada. Yes. So we can't write off that because it speaks to that need yemunhu wako kuti need words of affirmation as an expression of love. So if you're married to that person, find out what do they want. Ask them. There's nothing wrong with that. It's perfectly okay for them to say, you know what, it's fine.
Or you can ask.
That's the best thing that you can ever do. You know, because otherwise you do the wrong thing. Thinking with gone. Find out, ask what I call open-ended questions. And it you'd rather ask and say, and then you give the person, an opportunity to explain what they really want to do and how they would really want you to express their love, your love towards them. So these words, Vikendi, they are positive words. Atsudaman's giano godora muna no rayamunu ma negative words. I think I my words of distraction, you work out my weapons of mass distraction. So we want words that are positive. I'm sure you can find something positive about your person.
Yeah, sure.
You can then say, I see nothing positive about that person. You know, marriage, I've never been happy in this marriage. That's a lie. And you look at them, they've got 5 kids. You look at them, they've got pictures in their social media pages. Holiday, and you're like, okay, you're saying you've never been happy. What was all this? So it's very important for you to be able to find something that is nice, something that your person is doing right, and try to, to appreciate that. Show them, good, you know what, I really appreciate. I had moments like that today in the morning in Pastor Glory, my wife. I just said to just find something to just, compliment her. Good, baby, I really appreciate Kuti, when I'm busy and you're driving me around and I'm busy, maybe on the phone trying to respond to people and all that. I really appreciate that. And I saw your face, lighting up. And I'm like, okay, I've hit the right button.
Just a message of kindness,
Yeah.
Wow.
But when part of weekend, don't wait for special moments for you to verbalize your appreciation. Like last week, we talked about my just because gifts. So Pampacho, you can just throw a just because word of affirmation. Nothing big happened, but I really appreciate what you're doing for me, what you do with the kids. I really appreciate that you go kubasa, uchiti shandira semuri. I really appreciate you, my wife, because you also do ABCD things. Try to see those things and try to name them. Very important.
You know, it's the Lord's work, the Lord is speaking as well.
Amen. Amen. Yes, Zimbabwe. Let's just send the message. I know to but just at least can you want the message it will be recorded. So just get that phone, up him or up her and say, I really appreciate you and I love you. Of course, is this directed to me? Cannot make a mistake because they are not used to it. And then just have something to laugh about.
And make it your normal. If you're sending by show of raising hands, please just show us if you're going to send. Yeah.
Yeah. So we need to utilize these words of affirmation because if you don't do that, then the other side, which is the negative side, where we use more of my weapons of mass destruction, because words can either build or destroy a relationship. Okay, particularly in my desert Tyriana, I'm so excited. These are the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. I'm really excited because this is an opportunity for us to really push the message. Way we don't abuse your spouse. You don't. That's unacceptable. If you come to Pastor Simba don't be surprised if I say, please, Tanga Mafurane police station first before we can help you. I'm very, very much against that. The reason why I'm mentioning this, there are people that will say, I've never touched my wife in terms of kumrova, kanaguita say, I've never touched my husband in terms of physical abuse. But in most cases, there is some form of verbal abuse that is happening.
Yeah.
You've abused that person verbally. So instead of us investing in verbal abuse, let's invest more in words of affirmation. And as you invest more in words of affirmation, that other bad part will just disappear, hopefully. Okay. But I'm not saying kuti kana munhu ari good at words of affirmation, then they are not abusive physically. There are some that then go to the other extreme as well. After, giving you words of affirmation, they can then even abuse you physically. There are people like that.
And so, I'm actually getting messages here. This is so good, eh? But you show appreciation. So keep them coming back to send one of my screenshots. This is so good. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. And one more thing, this is not just limited to romantic relationships. You can also do that to your parents, your mom, your dad. Just send a message, a random message of appreciation. Okay, very important. Kana uti amwene, kana uti ameno ngoti ndokutenda nokundizvara kwamakaita mwanakomana wenyu. I know there's stiff between you na amwene wako, but I'm telling you that will actually do a lot in terms of mending or repairing that relationship. So it's very important for you to know that this is not just limited to romantic relationships. You can also send to your daughter, to your son. I'm doing more of this nowadays because my daughters are teenagers, so I know how they want me to express love for them. One of my daughters, I know the Naledi has been on my case. And they please take me kusadza. Ndende say kusadza. Ndakunda kusadza. So I'm just thinking maybe weekend I'll actually take you kusadza.
So sweet.
Because I don't know to say the vibe and just to to see what happens there. So okay, I'll take you out. And I've got no other option but to take her out on a sadza date with my daughter.
Wow.
So affirmations, words of affirmations weekend, they help in terms of dealing with certain insecurities. Remember I said this also applies kuvana. Mwana kaenda kuchikoro obviously kune vamwe vanogona kutomukunda, and that then becomes an insecurity for that child. Saka it's important for you to then find ways of encouraging mwana kuti okay, you may not have been the first in your class, but you are still good, you are still the best. Mommy and daddy appreciate your work, the work that you're putting in. So it's very important for us to deal with insecurities using words of affirmation. Kune maspouses mazhinji kuvasata mbonzonzi wakanaka. Hairstyle yako yakanaka and all those things. And imagine they go all out there, vane insecurity yokuti pamwe zvichikwada ndina kunaka. So let's deal with that. Let's speak it out. So quickly, I'm going to give examples on some of the things that you can do or say to your person. Remember, with people that love these words of affirmation, to them talk is not cheap. And talk is not cheap. I know we know talk is cheap, but it is not cheap. They value talk. These are the do's. You can express your love via written or spoken words. Don't limit it to just spoken. You can say words like you look good, wakachena, yesta yako bo, boss munaenda salon, please recognize the effort that they've put. It's not about kuti yesta yacho kunyangumfita erikanachi, but please appreciate the effort that has been put. Arutoitira iwewe unofitwa wena. Just give a compliment, say thank you, and tell them that your smile mesmerizes me. You can find something good about them. Tell them you love them. I love you. You are the only mosquito in my mosquito net. My nana in my banana. My sugar in my coffee. My one and only. The love of my life. Hey, beautiful. Hey, handsome. This is what we want to hear. These are the words of affirmation that we are talking about. So, even if you know are through some hard times, that's the time to say these words. Very important. Acknowledge that good thing that they're doing. And then watch out for the don'ts. What you must avoid. Number one, don't lie. Words of affirmation. And they don't want mere talk. They want you to show that you really mean what you're saying. And number two, don't assume they knew you love them. Verbalize it. Verbalize it. Then number three, don't forget to verbalize your appreciation when they do something good. That's an opportunity for you to verbalize your appreciation. Then lastly, number 4, no emotionally harsh words. I spoke about weapons of mass distractions. Let's not do that. Then, Vikendi, this is the challenge that I'm living with, particularly men out there. Let's turn from Proverbs 31 woman to Proverbs 31 men. Takakura chimunzwanzi Proverbs 31 woman. Let's now think of Proverbs 31 men. What does he say? The Proverbs 31 men. Proverbs 31, 28 to 29. Many women have done excellently, but you surpass them all. This is the husband talking to the virtuous woman.
Yeah.
Good answer. Many women have done excellently well, but you surpass them all.
Wow.
Apana mdzimai asingadi kudzwa izvozvo.